Normally our Moreh, Milton, teaches each Shabbat, and I rather enjoy sitting there and listening to him teach and commenting when appropriate, but he asked me to do this today. And this is really a presentation that stems from our Blacks in the Bible series that I did a while back. But really, the focus is the true identity of the Hebrews. That's what we're going to be talking about today, and it's an appropriate topic to discuss before we go into our 10 Commandments series. As Milton read this morning in Exodus 20, we read all 10 commandments, and you see that the Most High spoke those commandments to the nation of Israel. It's very important to understand who the nation of Israel is. Not that any man or woman is exempt from the requirements in Torah. However, it's very important to know who Israel is, because Israel were the ones that actually heard it from the mouth of the Most High. So we're going to be talking about that today. Now, let's see if the clicker works. Do I turn it on by pushing this button? It's on? Yay! Okay, so the goals of the presentation today are to, number one, prove there were some black people in the Bible. Okay? Because some people don't know that, they doubt it. All the movies, all the pictures we see don't necessarily depict that. Two, show that there were always black people among the nation of Israel. Some people will admit there were black folks, but that they were slaves all the time. No, black people were in Israel. Finally, next we're going to explain the history and the geography of Israel so that we can identify who Israel is. And then at the end, we're going to explore the prophetic relationship between biblical Israel and modern day blacks. That is what we're going over today. So let's jump right into it. Genesis chapter 10, I recommend that everybody become very familiar with Genesis chapter 10. It frequently is referred to as the Table of Nations because it lays out the origin of all people after the flood. As you know, there was a great flood, and the only people that survived were Noah and his family. And in that family, he had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And from those 3 sons, we have all the people that we see here today. So Shem, you'll see to the far left, was the father of Eber, and from Eber comes our father Abraham. We always refer to Father Abraham. It's very important to know that Abraham comes from Noah's son Shem. Okay? And I'll go into the meaning of Eber later, but just know that Eber is the root of Hebrew, or many people believe that it is. Ham was the father of Cush, also known as Ethiopia, Mizraim, also known as Egypt, Put, also known as Libya, and Canaan. And lastly, Japheth, we will see, is known as the father of the Gentiles, or is at least referred to in Genesis chapter 10. I'm going to quickly show you a map of the territories occupied by these 3 sons. I got this off blueletterbible.org, so you guys can look at it too. That top red portion, predominantly around the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, is the territory of Japheth. Beneath that, you will see blue territory, primarily around the Arabian Peninsula, and that is the territory of Shem, although I have seen other maps that will put some of Shem's descendants in Asia as well. And then the yellow territory is Africa. And right here you're seeing only the northeastern corner of Africa, but as we will see going through this, Ham took over a whole continent of Africa. And then there is a small green portion that I'm not going to talk about a lot, but that is the descendants of Ishmael. That's the territory that Ishmael took over. And of course, blue Shem mixed with yellow Ham, you get green. Okay, so this is just a close-up view in case anybody couldn't see. I know it's hard for the folks who are here, but hopefully the people online, I don't know if they can't see it at all. Okay, sorry about that. All right. But note that Japheth is largely in Europe and Asia Minor, Shem, the Middle East, formerly considered northeastern Africa, and then Ham is mainland Africa. Let's talk about Japheth first. Genesis chapter 10 and verse 2 says, the sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. Verse 5 says, from these the coastland peoples of the Gentiles were separated into their lands, everyone according to his language, according to their families, into their nations. It says the coastland peoples of the Gentiles. Let's look again at that map, that red territory of Japheth. You'll see it encompasses the northern Mediterranean Sea, the Black Sea, and the Caspian Sea. These are largely coastlands with all those seas. These lands now include modern-day Greece, Turkey, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Romania, Bulgaria, Russia, Ukraine, and the former Soviet territories. In other words, portions of Europe. That's where Japheth and his descendants dwelt. Okay? Now, some people will say that Noah's 3 sons were all different colors. That's what some people say. I'm just putting it out there in the forefront. I think that's a little hard to do if they all share the same DNA. But those that believe that say that Japheth was the white son of Noah. I think they believe that because Japheth settled in Europe, and lands that are now occupied predominantly by white people. So I'm just going to put up a little slide here. I'm sorry that people online can't see it, but I wanted to display pictures of people who are children of black parents, what we would consider 100% black, or mixed parents. So the twins, these are literal twins. Came out same womb at the same time. On the left, one is black, one is white. To me, the white one looks black, but he thinks of himself as white, so do his parents. They actually came from a black father and white mother. The middle twins, the 2 little girls, came from 2 parents who were biracial. Notice one looks 100% black, the other one looks 100% white. And then the last set on the right, these are black children. Their mother is Brazilian. Actually, both their parents are Brazilian, blacks. And those are their children. Now, you'll see 2 black kids and 2 or 3 what look like white kids. Those kids are actually albino. But you wouldn't know it to look at them because they look just like blonde white people. Do they not? All of those people came from the same exact parents. So what am I trying to say? When people say they were all, different, like Noah had 3 sons, they were all different, they're really not. I mean, they're still same DNA, maybe different skin tones, but all black. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me see. I'm sure. All right, moving on to Ham. I mentioned earlier Ham and all the nations that he gave birth to. I display here their pictures again. In verse 6 of chapter 10, it says, and the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan. We're going to go into a lot of detail about Ham. The reason being, everybody admits that Ham was black. Everybody. All the biblical scholars, no matter what color they are, nobody disputes that Ham was a black man and all of his kids were black. So that's why I'm going to spend some time on it. Even though Israel came out of the line of Shem, I need us to understand who Ham is and how Ham relates to Shem. So bear with me. Here's the geography of Ham again. This map only focuses on the northeastern corner of Africa, but I can tell you that Ham's territory took over the whole continent. Let me say this. Ham, they think, means hot. Okay? Makes sense. Africa's pretty hot from what I hear. Haven't been yet. Praying, Yah, hear my cry. All right, the first son of Ham we're going to talk about is Phut. Puts just an ancient name for Libya. You see here an ancient depiction of Libyans. I'm going to zoom in here on their faces. Notice their dark skin tone, their braided hair. I mean, not altogether different from people we see with locks today or braided hair or what have you. Those are ancient Libyans. I know we've been focusing a lot on Libyans today. Understand there's been a lot of mixing, a lot of moving around. If you were in the United States 400 years ago, people would have looked a lot different, right, than how they look today. So this is an ancient depiction of Libyans. They were a North African nation. All right, another son of Ham is Canaan. Canaan's descendants occupied the land bordering the eastern Mediterranean or the seacoast nations of Palestine. Today, this includes modern Israel, Lebanon, parts of Syria, and Jordan. Here is an ancient depiction of a Canaanite. Okay? Notice, and this was rendered in Egyptian hieroglyphics. Note the afro. And he's captured here tending to what looks to me like a Nubian ibex. And that creature, even today, lives only in northeastern Africa and Israel. That's a Canaanite. Interestingly enough, Canaan also means merchant, according to Strong's. They were the merchant of the sea. And the descendants of the Canaanites included the Phoenicians and the Philistines. So think of Canaanite as merchant, seagoing people. Here is a close-up of a Philistine. Notice his hairdo. I don't know if it's dreads or what, but clearly something only we can do with our hair. All right. Not trying to be difficult, I'm just saying. All right. Misraim, that's the Hebrew for what we now call Egypt. It even says it right there on the map, Misraim. To the west is the land of the Libyans that we now know is Phut. Here are some depictions of Egyptians. Note again the deep brown skin tones, braided hair. It irks me to no end that in every movie, Egyptians are depicted as really tanned white people. And I say that only because, I mean, think about it. Were we to make a movie about ancient Rome or Greece, or let's say Braveheart, and let's say the movie was made, Braveheart, and all the people in the army were black, would that make any sense at all? So again, we love truth for truth's sake. It's not a matter of trying to be better or anything. It's truth for truth's sake. Here are Egyptians as they depicted themselves, all right? And I just want to, I'm not going to go into detail, but again, here is some of their architecture. They still cannot figure out how they built that Great Pyramid of Giza. They tried to do it with modern technology. They could not do it. They have no idea how it was done. The monuments, it's hard to see from where you guys are sitting, but look at the size of those people compared to the size of the monuments. Again, I don't even know that we could do that today. This is Queen Nefertiti off to the left. Look at her skin tone. After however many thousands of years of fade, look at the black color on her hat and how faded that is. So you can imagine how she originally looked. And then again, there's a depiction of, the interior of an Egyptian building, and again, brown skin tones. Truth for truth's sake, people. Egyptians came from Ham. Name means hot in Africa. Okay, moving on. Just gonna move on. A little passionate about this subject. Okay.